better go with the ladies." Nicholas nodded his head toward the ballroom where the other ladies were being led by 2 or 3 of the gentlemen. The woman ignored him and shouted another command to the serving staff. At precisely the same moment, another string of obscenities issued forth from the girl on the floor, along with another punch of her knee. This time, the jab landed several inches below Nicholas's stomach. Tendrils of fire radiated from his groin to his buttocks and down his legs. It doubled him over and brought bile to his throat. He struggled to swallow it and to keep his balance. "You'd better sit down, sir," the rose-silked woman said. Nicholas tried to answer her, to keep his dignity and lie to her that he was all right. But pain had robbed him of his voice. He could do nothing except back away weakly and obey her command. The rest was a blur to Nicholas. He was vaguely aware of a servant appearing with a large bag in his hand, and the woman removing a vial of something from the bag, then mixing the contents with water and forcing the screaming girl to drink. He also had a hazy memory of the silk-clad woman leading the subdued girl away toward the kitchen. It was several seconds before Nicholas was able to stand, and then to walk, slightly bent, back to his chair at the table. By now, the other women had all been safely dispersed to the ballroom, and the men were settling at the table again, ready for their port. Even a mad woman would not deter an English gentleman from the tradition of port and cigars after dinner. "Sorry, bloody sorry." Eddie brushed at his sleeves and straightened his jacket. "One never knows what one is getting in kitchen help these days." "I thought all we'd have to worry about is the band of robbers roaming the countryside," one of the gentlemen said. "Had no idea there would be mad women. What was all that about, anyway?" "God knows," Eddie said, distracted now by a servant serving the port. "Accusing you of murder?" Lord Whittingham said. "Good God, man, what was she talking about?" "I have no idea," Eddie said. "I've seen the wench only a few times, and the only time I've spoken to her was last year when Cook hired her and brought her to me for introductions." "Then you don't know the poor dead bugger she was talking about," Whittingham said. "Georgie, wasn't it?" "Georgie?" Eddie shook his head. "I have no idea who the poor bloke could be. She made no sense at all. I suspect she's been helping herself to the wine cellar." All of the gentlemen laughed. "And she must have been having a bloody good time, Eddie," one of them said, raising his glass. "The port is exceptional." "Hear, hear," another said, and raised his glass, a signal to all to raise their own. "The woman who ministered to her," Nicholas asked as he selected one of the Havana cigars being offered to him by a servant. "Who was she?" "Oh, you mean Miss Gladstone," Eddie said. "Didn't I introduce you?" "Well, yes, you did. But I'm afraid I paid little attention to—" "Gladstone?" one of the guests said with a certain amount of disgust in his voice. "Don't think I caught the name either. Not related to that bloody William Gladstone in Parliament, is she?" Eddie laughed. "No relation at all. Mark my word," the gentleman said. "The bastard will be Prime Minister again, and what will that do to Disraeli and his foreign policy?" The topic then turned to politics. Although Nicholas would have liked to learn more about Miss Gladstone, he did not change the subject. He aspired to a career in politics, and took every opportunity he could to learn the political pulse of his class. As the conversation continued, he downed several glasses of the port, so that by the time it was necessary to join the ladies in the ballroom, the pain in his groin had disappeared completely. Once in the ballroom, he searched for the woman who had aroused his curiosity in the dining room. Besides her slender form, lovely ginger-coloured hair, and sparkling golden eyes, he had been intrigued by her confident manner with the lunatic. The woman he sought was nowhere in sight. Isabel, however, caught his eye and gave him a coy smile as she wiggled her fingers at him from across the room. Nicholas knew full well what those wiggling fingers meant. But he had lost interest in Mrs. Atwater. He was beginning to regret his flirtation, since he would be confined with her and the rest of the guests at Montmartre, Lord Edward Dunsford's country estate, for a few days. It was Eddie's habit to invite the liveliest of his London friends out for an extended stay at his family's country estate in the summer. Nicholas had no country estate of his own. He was the younger son of a viscount with no title to inherit, so the family estate went to his older brother. He preferred his London townhouse anyway, for entertaining as well as for living. "Nicky, old boy, enjoying yourself, I hope? In spite of the bloody scene in the dining room." Eddie gave him a hearty slap on the back. Lord Edward had been his classmate at Eton, a handsome man in his early 30s with a stocky build and thick flax-coloured hair and hazel eyes. "Enjoying myself? Of course, Eddie. Smashing party, as always." He noticed then how pale Eddie looked, and how